Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so this legendary franchise has been dormant for like over 13 goddamn years. And cause of this depressing reality, I found myself looking back at the last game, Blacklist, which like dropped all the way back in 2013. So anyways, when you dissect the narrative of Blacklist, you immediately realize that it's an absolute clusterfuck of Tom Clancy technobabble mixed with extreme, almost comical American nationalism. So like the plot kicks off with this tutorial mission set at the Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. Sam is just hanging out, doing contract work for his old buddy Victor Cost, when a highly organized terrorist faction known as the Engineers completely destroy the base. The attack leaves many dead, and also Victor throws himself on a grenade to save Sam, leaving him severely injured and out of the fight. So after this, the Engineers immediately broadcast a public ultimatum to the US government, which is to immediately recall every single American troop deployed overseas or face a continuous terrorist attacks dubbed the Blacklist. So in response to this spectacular failure of national security, President of the US essentially hands Sam Fisher a blank check, and they create this fourth echelon, a well-funded, highly mobile, off-the-books counter-terrorism unit. Fisher is appointed as the commander and is officially granted Fifth Freedom, which is basically a fancy government term that gives him the right to break any international law and kill absolutely anyone he deems necessary to protect the country. Okay, so the fourth echelon doesn't operate out of a boring office building. They operate in a stealth cargo airplane known as the Paladin, which also serves as your base for the entire game. And the crew aboard the Paladin is a mixed bag of returning favorites and generic archetypes. You have series veteran Anna Grimm returning as your technical operations manager. You have a new character named Isaac Briggs, a former CIA operative who serves as your lethal triggerman and co-op partner. Then you have Charlie Cole, an insufferable, quirky hacker kid who handles all your gadgets and weapon upgrades. And in a brilliant twist, the team is forced to rely on Andrei Kobin, the sleazy scumbag arms dealer from Splinter Cell Conviction who was responsible for faking the death of Fisher's daughter. So like Sam extracts Kobin from a CIA safe house in Benghazi early in the game, and for the rest of the campaign, Kobin is kept locked in a holding cell in Paladin, constantly whining, trading insults with Sam, and acting as a begrudging informant. Their banter is genuinely one of the highlights of the writing, humanizing both characters as they learn to tolerate each other.
Briggs, what's your 20?
Inbound with the van.
Holy shit, he is here to save me. Move.
Anyways, the primary antagonist orchestrating everything is a man named Majid Sadiq, a dangerous former MI6 agent who uses psychological warfare, deception, and extreme brutality to try and bring the US to its knees. And like the geopolitical themes in this game are laid on incredibly thick, with the narrative constantly beating you over the head with questions about the morality of American interventionism, the justification of torture, and the acceptable limits of collateral damage. So like the story takes you around the world, from Paraguay to an abandoned mill in London, sneaking through Tehran, and stopping chemical attacks in Philadelphia. And it all culminates in a hostage situation at a military bunker in Denver, known as Site F. So during this final confrontation, Sadiq manages to breach the bunker and capture the Secretary of Defense along with a dozen other high-ranking officials. The final boss fight is actually brilliant because it doesn't devolve into a massive shootout. Instead, Fisher is forced to hunt Sadiq, dodging laser grids and relying entirely on pure stealth to initiate close-quarters grapple sequences, because engaging Sadiq in a direct firefight is suicide. And after a vicious, brutal struggle, Fisher manages to cripple Sadiq, slicing his leg open with his knife and bringing him to his knees. And so in a fantastically manipulative final gambit, Sadiq laughs and boasts that Fisher has already lost. He claims that if Sam kills him right there, the 12 rogue nations secretly funding the Engineers will view him as a martyr and wage outright war on America. Alternatively, if Sam arrests him and puts him on a public trial, Sadiq promises to leak every single dirty, bloody secret the American government has ever buried. It's a brilliant checkmate. But the game ends with Fisher utilizing the Fifth Freedom not to execute the villain, but to officially declare Sadiq dead to the media while secretly dragging him off to a black site for endless off-the-books interrogation. It perfectly encapsulates the dark, morally bankrupt reality of the Splinter Cell universe. So mechanically speaking, Blacklist is an absolute triumph. It serves as a beautiful anthology of the franchise's best ideas, polished even further. The devs understood that different players want to approach stealth games in completely different ways. So rather than forcing you down a singular linear path, they designed the entire game around this scoring system that explicitly rewards 3 distinct playstyles: Ghost, Panther, and Assault. Like if you choose the Ghost playstyle, you're committing to pure, undisturbed stealth. This is the ultimate classic Splinter Cell experience. The game gives you the highest possible monetary rewards and point multipliers for evading enemies without them ever knowing you were there. And if you have to engage, the Ghost style rewards purely non-lethal takedowns using sleeping gas, sticky shockers, and blunt force knockouts while leaving bodies hidden. And if you prefer the Panther playstyle, you're playing as a lethal predator in the shadows. This playstyle rewards you for remaining completely undetected while taking out guards using silenced weapons, snapping necks, and using lethal environmental traps. It's incredibly satisfying, striking that perfect balance between stealth and lethal efficiency. Finally, if you completely screw up, or if you just want to play the game like a maniac, there's the Assault playstyle. This rewards points for engaging in chaotic firefights, going loud with unsuppressed guns, tossing frags, and utilizing armored suits to absorb incoming damage. While classic fans might scoff at this, it's entirely optional and it ensures that getting spotted doesn't result in an instant game over screen. Also, the fluidity of movement in Blacklist is staggering. Sam can seamlessly slide from cover to cover, scale vertical pipes, shimmy along ledges, and navigate complex geometry with an agility that even puts some modern third-person shooters to shame. And that highly controversial mark and execute system, which was introduced in Conviction, returns here, but it's significantly refined. For those who don't know, this system allows you to build up an execute meter by performing hand-to-hand melee takedowns. Once full, you can tag up to 3 enemies in a room, and Sam will instantly drop all of them with a cinematic flurry of auto headshots. The game even introduces a new feature called Killing in Motion, which allows you to trigger these executions while sprinting or leaping over obstacles. It's undeniably cool to pull off, but it definitely removes some of the tension and vulnerability that defined the older games. Thankfully, the gadget wheel is pretty decent, giving you a lot of ways to engage with the sandbox without relying on auto executions. Like you're equipped with traditional tools like sticky cameras, noisemakers, and EMP grenades, but the game also introduces some new hardware. Like the Tri-Rotor, which is a micro-drone that you can pilot through air vents to scout locations, distract guards with noises, or fire sticky shocker darts at them. You also get access to a crossbow that fires sleeping gas, EMP charges, and noisemakers. And everything you do in the game kinda feeds directly into the economy loop. So like the money you earn through the scoring system is used at the SMI to purchase custom loadouts, upgrade your weapons, and modify your stealth suit. Like you can buy boots to muffle your footsteps, gloves to increase weapon handling, and different kind of goggles to expand your sonar vision. Furthermore, you can even invest directly into upgrading the Paladin plane itself, which provides tangible gameplay benefits. Like upgrading the cockpit unlocks a highly detailed on-screen radar minimap. Funding Charlie's workshop gives you access to prototype weaponry on the black market. Upgrading the command and control center automatically reveals the exact locations of hidden collectibles like dead drops and laptops through walls. Building an infirmary significantly increases the speed of your health regeneration during combat scenarios. It's an incredibly addictive, satisfying progression loop that constantly rewards you for mastering the stealth mechanics. Okay, let's talk about its length and the difficulty scaling, because this is where Blacklist truly earns its stripes. So the main campaign runs a somewhat respectable 7 to 10 hours, depending on how committed you are to remaining unseen and exploring the environment. And the pacing is kinda decent, constantly throwing new environments and enemy variations. The enemy is surprisingly competent. Like if you shoot a light, a guard will notice and come investigate with a flashlight. If 2 enemies hear a noise, one will search while the other watches his back, and if the first one doesn't return, the second will trigger an alarm. The game also has these heavily armored infantry that are kinda immune to headshots, so you gotta sneak around for a precise takedown. You also have to deal with commandos who can see through smoke grenades, snipers with laser sights, drone operators who can jam your goggles, and worst of all, attack dogs that will sniff out your scent trail and hunt you down, completely ruining a perfect ghost run. However, the primary reason the fans of Chaos Theory still respect the game today is the inclusion of the Perfectionist difficulty mode. So the game offers 4 difficulties: Rookie, Normal, Realistic, and Perfectionist. Rookie makes the enemies legally blind. Normal is a balanced mix of stealth and action, and Realistic lowers your ammo and makes enemies highly lethal. But Perfectionist fundamentally changes the game. It strips away all of the overpowered stuff. Like the mark and execute ability is completely disabled. Your fancy sonar goggles can no longer magically see enemies through solid walls, and enemies will detect you instantly in the light and will kill you in just 2 or 3 shots. Furthermore, mid-mission supply caches are completely removed, meaning you can't restock your ammo or gadgets halfway through a level. You gotta manage your inventory perfectly. Playing the game on Perfectionist forces you to rely entirely on spatial awareness and methodical planning. It proves that the devs successfully made a brilliant stealth sandbox that demands respect. And if you play this game, you owe it to yourself to at least try it on Perfectionist once. Anyways, when it comes to replayability, it's kinda insane to look at the sheer volume of content packed into this game, especially when compared to the bare-bones microtransaction-riddled releases of the modern era. While there isn't a traditional New Game Plus mode, the game is endlessly replayable because you can dive back into any mission with all your unlocked late-game gear and tackle it using a completely different playstyle to maximize your scores. And alongside the main campaign, the crew members aboard the Paladin offer you 14 large side missions. These aren't some cheap recycled side quests or lazy procedural generation. They're unique levels that take you to new locations across the globe and feature their own dedicated mechanics and rule sets. Anna Grimm gives old-school infiltration missions set in locations like a billionaire's yacht off the coast of Australia or an Estonian hacker's den. These are brutal challenges where triggering a single alarm or being spotted even once results in an instant mission failure, demanding absolute perfection and catering exclusively to the Ghost playstyle. And Andrei Kobin tasks you with clearing out entire maps of hostiles, such as an opium farm in Afghanistan or a diamond mine somewhere. Breaking stealth here doesn't fail the mission, but instead triggers waves of heavy reinforcements, naturally encouraging the Lethal Panther playstyle where you stalk and eliminate targets one by one. The only genuinely divisive content in this entire package is the missions provided by Charlie Cole. These are essentially survival arenas set in locations like the Pakistani and Swiss embassies. You're trapped in a small environment and bombarded by constantly escalating waves of enemies. While it allows you to fully unleash the assault playstyle, plant proximity mines everywhere, and go completely nuts with heavy weapons, it's very anti-Splinter Cell. It feels like a forced concession to the Gears of War era of game design, but hey, it remains entirely optional, and some people out there really seem to enjoy this chaotic combat loop.
Just a little further.
So, when assessing Blacklist today, it's impossible not to feel a profound sense of melancholy. This was a game cursed by terrible timing and a hardcore fanbase devastated by the loss of Michael Ironside's iconic voice. The narrative is a self-serious, hyper-patriotic mess, and this new portrayal of Sam Fisher as a perpetually angry generic military commander completely strips the beloved character of his sarcastic charm. But if you can strip away the voice acting controversy and judge it purely on its mechanical merits, Blacklist is nothing short of a masterpiece of stealth action game design. It's a goddamn shame that a game this mechanically brilliant failed to secure the future of the franchise. If you have never played it, do yourself a favor, grab a copy, crank it up to Perfectionist, turn off the lights, and remember what it feels like to be a ghost. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, I'll catch you all in the next one.